Rees-Zammit scored a couple of first half tries. As a fellow winger, what do you make of him as a player, and how good do you think he can be?
So everyone's been talking about Rees-Zammit for the last 2 years. I think he got sent home in the Six Nations because of a few reasons. His defense, his ability under the high ball, and I think what he's shown over this past weekend was that he's gone and taken a hard look at himself, worked on certain areas, and I mean when you have the pace, it's one thing, but when your all-round game starts coming together, I think it's pretty brilliant. And up against the likes of a Cheslin Colby and a Makazole Mapimpi, two of the best in the world, he definitely stood up. I think his frustration when he got the yellow card was evident for everyone to see. I don't think we're going to go into the type of cursing he actually started doing on the sideline, which was pretty impressive for a youngster. Very impressive.
The camera was there.
The potty mouth when he came on edge. Remember?
Absolute potty mouth. Old Manchester United wallpaper. Yeah, nightmare.
The least
Bryan,
media trade player ever, I think.
Yeah. Habs, do you reckon you'd be quicker than them in your day?
Definitely. Obviously.
Yeah, I like
flat
that.
Out. No, flat out. No. I mean, surely you back yourself. It's like asking, do you have a better hairstyle than Max, Ryan? You're going to say yes, obviously. Back yourself.
I've got more. I don't know about better. I've got a little bit more, but I don't know about better.
You mentioned Elton Yantis, and he had a bit of a game to figure out at fly half. Nothing really seemed to go right for him. Can you remember a fly half having such a test match with the Springboks, such a bad game in your time?
There's been a few throughout the last 2 decades, and I do feel sorry for Elton. He's sort of been on the scene now for the better part of the last decade. There's been a lot of expectation, and Elton really plays the best when his pack is going forward. And I think where Wales were exceptionally good is that physically they were matching the Springboks toe to toe in the scrums, the line-out mauls, the one-on-one combats on defense. And Elton just wasn't able to get the front foot ball. I think Puff de Klerk's inaccuracy as well with the boot was also not the best. But also when you've only played 30 minutes of rugby, as much as you do training sessions and contact sessions, and Jacques Nienaber said it post the test match on Saturday, like there's nothing like the real combat. You just can't prepare yourself as much as Max is now busy trying to bench 190 and get up to 200 by the time the season starts. The physical combat of a test match arena is nothing. So I do feel for Elton, but I also know that Jacques and Rassie and the management will definitely sort of back him and support him through this. I foresee a few number of changes being made this coming weekend, so it's going to be interesting to see how he goes. But hopefully after now 70 minutes of rugby, he can continue improving. And I'm guessing by the first touch he had in international rugby and the try he scored, Henry Arundell will probably be in the starting lineup this weekend, because that's just absolutely insane. Wow. So yeah, I think Eddie Jones is probably gonna throw a few surprises in this weekend, and it's back to the drawing board, unfortunately. And just 4 times in a row, it's tough on a Monday when you got to come in and go, we're going to get back on the horse, gentlemen. It's time to do it again.
It's just funny to say about Arundell, because he's actually being compared to you as the new thing that always comes out. It's the next Bryan Habana, but that's who he's been compared to in the papers this week for his playing style. What are your thoughts on that and on him?
My first touch in international rugby, I just had to run away from Josh Lucy. I didn't have to bounce 2 Australians, fend off James O'Connor and score a try. So I'm like, no, that's a little bit better than Bryan Habana. I'm extremely humbled that I'm still being compared. I'm getting into my 5th decade of my life now, so extremely grateful that I'm still being compared to some lightning quick youngsters with ability. But I think the try he scored at Stade Mayol in a few weeks ago definitely let everyone look up and say this bloke is proper. Long may his try scoring and his feat on the rugby field entertain the rugby world, because he does seem an incredibly talented, focused individual. In comparison to someone like Rees-Zammit, who took a while to sort of find his feet in international rugby. Arundell's just put his hand up and said, "I'm here, and I'm probably here to stay for a very long time."
I hope they don't, because you worry he got taken over as like a project player. Am I right? And then they've obviously gone, let's get him in as soon as we can, because I know that he was eligible to play for a few different teams. I just hope that Eddie Jones hasn't just played him and gone, right, that's it, and now we're all sitting in the back. Just keep going with him. Like you said, let's see him start. Like he is unreal, eh, Max? You've seen a bit of him.
I've seen a bit, yeah. He's King Midas. Everything he touches gets special. Yeah. He's some boy, yeah. Freakish athlete.
Yeah, but I think Eddie will back him. I think what Eddie loves is players, understand. Because I mean, Eddie's intense character. Let's be honest. Eddie doesn't mince his words, and he'll have seen what he saw in that last 7 minutes on Saturday, and know that he's got something special. But he'll nurture it properly, and he'll be in Henry's ear the whole week this week if he does play. Telling him that, mate, you're not working hard enough, mate. Work off your wing. And like Eddie will be, mate, you got to get better, mate. So Eddie will be in him this whole week, and he looks like a youngster who's really got his head, properly on his shoulders.
He looks intense, doesn't he? Yeah.
He looks intense. He looks committed. He almost looks like a young Jack Noel, to be honest. In terms of his, the way he approaches the game. So long may that last. The more we see of that in world rugby, I think the greater the game becomes. We talk about trying to create new fans and explore new territories, but when you have guys like that ripping it up, how is rugby not entertaining? Which I can't wait to see some more of.
Max, you predicted that Australia would win, but one front row forward who called it wrong was Joe Marler, who tweeted that this pack will eat them alive pre-kickoff, only to see England perhaps dominated. Were you surprised by how unimpactful the English forwards were, considering sort of size and experience advantage?
Yeah, I thought to be fair, the selection was class, wasn't it? Like you saw that England pack, there was a lot of throwback guys, a lot of experience, like a lot of guys have had so much success against Australia. But I just thought like Australia's approach to the chaos, like the speed of the ball, like Nick White was Geppetto. He was so good at like using the two-sided attack, getting the boys on Leo on the front foot. He was carrying so well. Whereas I felt like Danny Care was sort of hanging around a bit sometimes when he needs those options more, like guys just offering themselves up. I think that was the big separation there. Like Australia were just using the pace of the ball a little bit cleverer. And England were sort of just ones and twos, a little bit slow, gave Australia's D time to like make shots. And guys like Michael Hooper don't need much, and he was industrious, my God. And then the set piece battle probably didn't go as England planned. Like that scrum, that's a big psychological in. The first few were very messy, like Will Stewart in a contest with Angus Bell. Genja looked like he was getting the better of Alatoa, and then he went off. And then obviously when the benches came on, you got Slipper and Scott Sear with so much international experience, and they managed to swing it and get a reel into the game towards the sort of dying minutes. But I thought Parecki also was very good, and he's a guy who's got a lot of Premiership experience back in his Irish days. Really good set piece player. I thought he scrummed really well. But yeah, it was a mad game.